what's so cool about tattoos is even though they may be similar images, they have unique purposes for us, right? Just like as I was asking a couple of you what you're getting into, although it seems like y'all are pretty steady in the finance and marketing world, y'all have unique dreams and desires, a unique passion. Now, wouldn't you want to take those dreams and desires and make them a career? I mean, isn't that why you're doing this? Why are you going to come to school? Take what you're doing and turn it into something you love? Well, right there's a formula, I believe. When you can take your passion, whatever you love doing, and profit from it, not make it rich, but actually make a living from it, well, then that's your purpose. And as we're talking about, your purpose may change over time. But if you utilize this formula, this will help you get there. Through this process that I got to learn a lot about careers and passions. You know, when you get tattooed, it's like adding to yourself, isn't it? Like when you're getting tattooed, it's like adding a piece of yourself to show the world, making you feel closer to your truer self, right? And when you're performing that passion, you feel like you're closer to your truer self. And when you're performing that, you feel happy. And happy is a subjective word because sometimes busting your ass and working really hard, but feeling like accomplished afterwards, it's a sense of happiness. And like when we sit there and we get tattooed, whether we're feeling that adrenaline and endorphins and it makes us feel kind of wild, it makes us feel good too. It makes us feel happy. Because afterwards, we've gone through this process. Just like you guys are going through the process of school, right? You're arduously learning through classes that may be boring, but you're still going through it. You're still focusing, and you're going to achieve a degree eventually. Okay? So same thing, when you get a tattoo, you've gone through this painful process, and now you get to show the world what you believe in is yourself. Simultaneously, you have to trust somebody while they're permanently marking your body. That's an honor, honestly. I'm truly honored to have been allowed to do that for so many people over time. And during the process, I get to know people. One of my favorite things to talk about is what are people into? What are they passionate about? Just like I like to find out what you guys are into, I like to sit down and ask people, what are they passionate about? And I'm sure you would all agree that there is a huge contrast between people who are chasing their dreams and their passion and people who are just collecting a check. So the things you should ask yourself when you go out into the world isn't, do you have the skills and knowledge to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail? That's gonna happen. It actually took me 4 years of failure to get into the tattoo industry. My first experience of trying to get into the tattoo industry was on my 16th birthday. I'm sitting in a tattoo studio. Yeah, I'm 16. I'm cool. My mom's dope. She signed for me to get tattooed. And it's dark and smoky, and I'm in the chair. And I'm getting this armband tattoo. My arm was laying across a big old fat, sweaty belly. Yeah, it was some dude's poncho. That poncho was attached to a 6-foot-tall biker named CeeLo. And not only did CeeLo not believe in having an armrest, he didn't believe in like having a chair that adjusted it all. So just like you're making that movement, I'm like doing these crazy like tattoo yoga movements where he's just kind of getting all around my arm. And he was an old school tattooer. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but like reach back underneath the tricep, like pull the flesh nice and tight, and just takes that tattoo needle and drags it across the top. And so, I mean, I don't have good shoulder articulation and mobility, even today. So my arm was killing me. And my obviously my arm's burning too, right? Because he did that like super dry wipe as well. So it's like, oh my God. And then my eyes are burning from the cigarette smoke, right? Because he's smoking the whole time. This is a different day and age. And, I must have been acting tough though, as a 16-year-old. I was thinking I was tough. So, because halfway through the outline, he kind of sits back and, boy, for 16, you're sitting pretty good. Now, I have been an artist since birth. I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I was 12 years old. The first time I saw a tattoo, I wanted to be a tattoo artist. And now I've got this professional tattoo artist, somebody who I'm looking up to, like, I want to be just like this guy. Just gave me a compliment. On top of like having like adrenaline, endorphin running through my body, I've got like this kind of crazy confidence. I look over and say, oh, well, thank you, sir. You know, I want to be a tattoo artist. Would you teach me how to tattoo? Hell no, boy. Now imagine that. Imagine you guys go to a job interview, right? You're looking up to somebody who oh man, I want to emulate this guy. Here's my resume, sir. Hell no. You know, it's not what I was expecting. That wasn't an easy answer. I had no idea how difficult it was going to be to get in the tattoo industry. And even though I was turned down there, I didn't quit. Felt like quitting a lot of times. But I didn't. I kept going. And every chance I could, I went into a tattoo shop and I inquired about an apprenticeship. And I usually left with a hell no or worse. I even ended up in the military, so I had to do something. And it wasn't until the year 2000 that I finally landed my shot. And in that 4 years of trying, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, it wasn't easy. I had not only these tattoo artists telling me to F off, kick bricks, but I had haters too. You know, people tell me, nah, man, you don't got what it takes. You tattoo. I even had my friends and family, people that loved me. You know, maybe they did think they were like offering me good advice, but they would tell me, oh, maybe it's not going to work out. Maybe you should fall back on something. Find something to fall back on. No, fall back. Hell no, I wasn't going to fall back. I burned the bridge behind me. I wasn't going to retreat. If I was going to fall anyway, it was going to be straight in my face. But at least I knew where I was falling. Now, please raise your hands if you want to spend any of the most precious commodity of your life, time, working for somebody else's dream. Do you want to spend your time working for someone else's passions? No. I mean, I don't think so. I imagine that's why I'm here, because you guys don't want to. You want to do something that you believe in, that you're passionate about. So over the past 2 decades, from tattooing and putting tattoo process together, I realized that there is this combination, right? When you're creating a tattoo, it requires foundational processes to make it work well. As you can see this tattoo evolving in front of you, it's a step-by-step process that creates the image. It requires these processes for somebody you want to wear on their body. And as you'll see in a little bit, to picture little words. And that's the same thing like a business. A business, a passion, whatever it is you're chasing. You can't just open up the doors and expect people to show up. It requires foundational processes to make it award-winning, to make it successful. There is a desire, I know, that you all have to becoming your own boss, to chase your dreams and desires. So I've created a process that I'd like to share with you guys. And it all comes to the context of a tattoo. Now, what are the first steps to getting a tattoo? What is the first thing you do when you're going to get some work done? The consultation is an important step, right? This is where we learn what the client wants to get done. Right? We sit down, we see what we want to get done, see if it makes sense for you. And there's a couple of things that we really look for. There's fit and flow. Now, what I mean by that is art is shapes, right? And your body has shapes. And I don't want to take a square image and put it on a round body part. It won't look good. It won't fit well. I want to make sure that the tattoo fits and flows with your physiology, looks aesthetically pleasing. And then I'm also going to ask you why. Why do you want to get that tattoo? You know, is it for a memorial tattoo? Is it for an achievement? Is it for getting through college? Is it truly like make sense for you? Or are you getting it just to look cool? And the only reason I mention that is because I've had people walk in with no tattoos on their body and they want to get their neck blasted. Like the first tattoo. Hey bro, I want to get my hand tattooed. And it's like, well, what do you do for a living? I work at Golden Pride. All right, I get it. You know, tattoos aren't such a hindrance as they once were, but they are a first impression. And I don't want to be responsible for hurting your future. right? It's the ethics of it. Personally, I won't tattoo someone's hands unless they have full sleeves, and I won't tattoo their neck unless they both have full sleeves and hand tattoos as well. Now, how does this apply to business? You want to make sure that whatever you choose to do, like I said, it's going to evolve. You may start off in marketing, you may start off in finance, but you realize you hate numbers, right? You can't stand TikTok, right? Who knows? You got to go out and do the job to see if it fits and flows with your physiology. If it makes sense that you can do it on a daily basis and be into it. Because I've known some dope artists, and have so much talent when it comes to tattooing. And then they go into business and now they hate tattooing. Because you all know business is a job in itself. Throw business on top of your craft. It's almost unbearable. I'm glad that I spent 10 years tattooing before I ever decided I was going to open a business. It made sense for me. And then it also taught me that I love tattooing because I needed to know that my why was true. Do you want to go into business, marketing, finance because of money? It's smart now. It's recognizing trends. It makes sense to get into marketing now. But is that what you really want to do? Or is it for fame? I guess you get famous on TikTok now. For money. These are things that are important to ask yourself. And I know that there was some responses as to what you guys plan on doing with your careers. But I'm going to leave you guys with a challenge before I go to kind of talk about helping you discover more of your passion.
Sat down, you're getting ready to tattoo. The first step is the outline. And now with the way that tattooing works, yes, we can adjust the process, but this is what really is important because the outline is what encapsulates the shading and color. This defines the edge because if you don't have an outline, the edges will become blurry over time. This is why it's so important that when you're building a business, building a venture, you have culture. You build your culture because this is the foundation. This is where you're going to establish your processes, your procedures, your ethics, your code of conduct. This is what's going to help you with that mission statement and branding. Right? This is going to help you attract the right people. When you're going through business and let's just say, you're doing some accounting and your client wants you to do something that doesn't feel right. It's unethical, right? It's outside of your culture. You might want to change your mind about that. Culture is so important. Archetype tattoo is all about high quality tattooing in a clean and safe environment. I care about my client's health because it's not just a pretty decal, it's a flesh wound, isn't it? And if done wrong, you said health, safety, sanitation, that's important. Right? I'm not going to hire somebody who smokes cigarettes and arrest people's body parts on their sweaty bellies, right? Nor would I tattoo or allow somebody to tattoo in my shop who maybe doesn't wear gloves and works in other houses. Because that was my first experience. I wasn't quite 15 years old, and I'm sitting on an unmade bed in a dirty bedroom. The dirty bedroom belonged to this friend of a friend named Ty, and he had just finished tattooing my friend Jared. Now, he's sitting there holding a homemade tattoo machine in one hand, an ungloved hand, and a lighter in the other. And he's lighting this sharpened guitar string. And he's getting ready to tattoo me. This is my first time ever getting a tattoo. And when he finishes, he asked me when I get done. And I'm like, I want to drag it. And his response is, how about a cross, bro? Obviously didn't know what he was doing. So I'm like, cool, whatever, I just want to get tattooed. A few minutes of sharp pain on my deltoid. I pop up and I go look in the mirror. Ty, why does my cross look like a capital T? Oh shit. My girlfriend Rachel's gonna be pissed. And she was hella pissed. And so was my mother, 15-year-old with a swollen, oozing, scabbing, infected capital letter in his arm. Now, she could have done a few different things. She could have punished me and told me never to do it again, and I would have never gotten a tattoo like that. Instead, she chose to educate. She taught me how dangerous that could have been. I could have got hepatitis. I could have a lifelong liver disease right now. And she was the one that signed for me to get a professional tattoo so I wouldn't do that shit again. And it's through that experience I know I will never allow that to happen in my studio. I know that I want to guide my crew in the cleanest, most safest, and ethical way. And it's huge that you establish this culture because that's what's going to guide you all. We got the outline done. What's the next step? Shading and coloring. Shading and coloring, those aren't mine, those are just for you. It's cool. That's one of my favorite parts about a tattoo because art is an illusion, right? It's lines, shapes, shades, and colors put together to trick you into seeing something that really isn't there. And it's that contrast that truly makes it possible. And I mean contrast as in like that dark shadow next to that light gray tone is what really creates the illusion of 3D, of something that has depth. Or putting complementary colors next to each other that allows them to pop. And here's an example, here's a color wheel. If you look at the red and the green, they're contrasting, but they're complementary, just like the blue and the orange. They really make each other pop. So if you, let's say the blue and the purple, and look at it in grayscale. If you look at it in grayscale, it doesn't have a lot of value change. So if you put a lot of blues and purples in an image, it's just gonna be pretty blah. It will not pop, it will not jump off. Like if you mix that blue, say that light green, it'll really jump off. And this is an important concept when you're building your team. And in a world now where DEI is a huge topic, diversity, equity, and inclusion, we're not gonna get too much into that, but it's important to know this. Do not hire people just because they're different, but do not hire them just because they're different. Hire people for who they are, but make sure that they complement each other. And it's good to have that conflict. It's good to have that contrast. If everyone's saying the same shit, where's the challenge at? Where's the constructive criticism? Where's the innovation? But it's through the buy-in of the whole that has really helped people feel like they're integrating some contrast that complements them. Now, you may be thinking one day you want to grow to some massive company and have hundreds, if not thousands, of employers or subordinates, and that's cool. And how are you going to get everyone to get in the hiring process? Regardless, it's important that you find out what everybody in the team believes they need, not just be the only one dictating what you're staffing. Find that's been invaluable when you're building your crew.